Hi everyone, Igor here for MarsTalk. 2021 is getting very exciting when it comes to the exploration of the planet Mars. 3 missions are currently underway by China, the United Arab Emirates and the United States. So it's very exciting to watch for news and updates coming from the Red Planet. Also, there are a lot of firsts in these missions. For the UAE, this is the first Mars mission in general. China is attempting to put an orbiter around Mars and land a rover all on the first Mars mission. And the United States, well, among other firsts, is planning to put a helicopter on Mars. We are keeping our fingers crossed for each and every one of them, and let's check them out. Out of all these missions, the Mars 2020 mission will actually land on Mars first, even though it was the last one to be launched. The official name of the mission is Mars 2020, and the name Perseverance is reserved for the car-sized rover itself. Launched from Cape Canaveral, Florida, on July 30th, 2020, Perseverance is expected to land on the Red Planet on February 18th. The landing site is the Jezero Crater, and the mission itself is supposed to last for at least 1 Martian year, or about 687 Earth days. The landing itself will not be that different from the landing of Curiosity rover, using the descent system consisting of a parachute, descent vehicle and a sky crane, which is used for lowering the rover on a tether to the surface. During descent, it will experience the so-called 7 minutes of terror, which means that no communication with the lander will be possible. The first communication will be the sign if the rover landed safely, and then bring out the champagne. The mission itself will focus on the astrobiology of Mars, including the search for signs of ancient microbial life. This makes Jezero the ideal candidate because scientists believe it used to be a 250-meter deep lake about 3.5 to 4 billion years ago. Jezero has a river delta where water flowing through it deposited much sediment over time, and it might have preserved signs of past biological activity. This is what Percy will try to find out. The rover will characterize the planet's geology and past climate, pave the way for human exploration of the Red Planet, and be the first mission to collect and cache Martian rock and regolith, which is broken rock and dust, using a collection system. Another great piece of tech Perseverance will be bringing to Mars is MOXIE. MOXIE is a device for converting Martian air into oxygen. This is beneficial for various reasons. The experiment will enable future astronauts and settlers to have a breathable atmosphere. Also, the produced oxygen will be used for rocket fuel, making future Mars missions much more efficient and cost-effective. My personal favorite is the Mars helicopter Ingenuity. Now I must say I'm looking forward to this one the most because, well, we'll have a helicopter on Mars. Ingenuity will test powered flight on another world for the first time. A series of flight tests will be performed over a 30 Martian day period that will begin sometime in the spring of 2021. For the very first flight, the helicopter will take off a few feet from the ground, hover in the air for about 20 to 30 seconds, and land. Now just imagine, the very first powered flight in the extremely thin atmosphere of Mars. So what makes the Mars 2020 mission so exciting is that it not only explores Mars, but it has the technology that will be beneficial to humans that will one day travel to, work, and live on Mars. So in a way, this robot is helping humanity become a multi-planet species. The Emirates Mars mission is the first ever mission by the United Arab Emirates to Mars. So this is also one for the history books. Launched from the Tanegashima Space Center in Japan on July 20th, 2020, aboard the Mitsubishi H-2A rocket, the Emirates Mars mission is set to provide a complete picture of the Martian atmosphere and its layers. It will help answer key questions about the Martian atmosphere and the loss of hydrogen and oxygen gases into space over the span of 1 Martian year, which is about 687 Earth days. The mission carries the HOPE or the Al-Amal orbiter, which will be the first probe to conduct such a mission, not only for the UAE. The probe reached the Red Planet's orbit in February 9th, 2021, where it completed the Mars orbit insertion maneuver. HOPE will have an elliptical science orbit ranging from 20,000 to 43,000 kilometers, with one complete orbit taking 55 hours. The mission's orbit will allow HOPE to complete the first ever planet-wide 24/7 picture of Mars' atmospheric dynamics and weather. So even though this mission is not equipped with a lander, the advanced science behind it will allow us to get a glimpse into the evolution of the Martian atmosphere. And this is the first Mars mission of the United Arab Emirates, so we are keeping our fingers crossed. Launched from the Wenchang Satellite Launch Center on July 23, 2020, using the Long March 5 rocket, the Tianwen-1 mission is the first ever mission by China to Mars, and is the first attempt to land a robotic rover on another planet. Tianwen, or Questioning the Heavens, reached Mars orbit on February 10th after completing the Mars Orbital Insertion Maneuver. Prior to entering Mars orbit, the spacecraft already started doing scientific operations with the Mars Energetic Particle Analyzer, which has already transmitted data back to Earth. The rover landing is scheduled for May 2021, and the location is a plane called Utopia Planitia, where NASA's Viking 2 spacecraft landed in the 1970s. During landing, the lander will also experience the 7 minutes of terror, and it will not report back unless it is safely on the ground. Now we have to point out that no other country has ever attempted to launch an orbiter and a rover on the first try. And if the rover lands, that will make China the second country to do so after the United States. Tianwen-1 will use advanced instruments to find evidence for current and past life, produce Martian surface maps, characterize Martian soil composition and water ice distribution, examine the Martian atmosphere, and in particular its ionosphere, among others. Tianwen-1 will look for pockets of water using its ground-penetrating radar, which is mounted on the rover itself. And this will be the first time a rover has conducted such a search from the ground. The ground-penetrating radar, or the GPR, will be able to image about 100 meters below the Martian surface, giving it a unique glimpse into the Martian soil. Tianwen-1 will give China valuable Mars experience, and it will lay groundwork for future sample return missions, which China is also planning. Getting samples back to Earth is crucial for in-depth study, despite the technological advancements made in scientific instruments that are placed to spacecraft. Yet, only Earthbound technology can be used for in-depth study of samples and confirming or denying the presence of life in a sample. Mars is definitely in the spotlight in 2021 and will continue to be so as future missions are planned. All these missions represent human ingenuity and effort to bring us closer to Mars. And as we look to the future of these missions, we also look to the future when the first human mission will begin orbital insertion maneuver and ultimately land on the planet Mars. Until that time, remember, always stay curious.